Hey there, YouTubers! Hello there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another random video in my crappy setup. Woohoo! Buck still thinks he has the jankest setup. I think his new setup is much nicer than this one, so I beg to differ. Anyways, welcome back to another random video / biology video because I don't have enough of those. I keep rambling. Today, we will be exploring the scientific method through onions. Why onions? Because I had an idea for an experiment about a question I had about them, which is the whole first half of the scientific method. Also, no one cares about onions, but I wanted to make a video about them. And everyone needs to know about the scientific method, so that's an easy video to make about. And that, kids, is where videos are coming from. It is getting warm in here without the air conditioner. The scientific method is an amazing process that is applicable in almost everything. In my field of study in college, when studying public policy, the process for making public policy is very similar to the scientific method. This is because good public policy has its foundations in science and rational thinking. The scientific method is a self-feeding cycle. It's not a circle because there is a clear start, there just necessarily isn't a clear end. Well, the start is to ask questions, gather information, and make observations. Well, what's that process like? Well, let's look at my onion idea. For some reason, I was thinking about how interesting the process for garlic reproduction is. Then I saw an onion bulb and I was like, well, wait a minute. Don't onions make flowers? Which make seeds, usually. Why do we get onion bulbs then and not seeds? Are onions biannual, or do they make seeds every year and the first year the bulb is just too small for food? So I went to Google and I got many different answers. Some species are like potatoes and make multiple bulbs. However, I have never seen those in stores and I have never seen anybody plant those, so we're not going to worry about those. Other sites just gave me dodgy answers. Well, onion seeds are cheap and onion bulbs are pretty cheap, so why not get the answer myself? On to the next step. Eats onion like apple, like a sociopath. Go check out my TikTok. Link in the description. The second step is to formulate a hypothesis. The basic definition, the one I was taught as a kid, is that a hypothesis is an educated guess as to what will happen if we test the question. The hypothesis is based on research you did about your question. So, here's my hypothesis. I hypothesize that onions are biannual and that we sell the bulbs because they yield bigger onions. This brings us to the testing phase. This is called an experiment. However, before we can just start planting onions, we need to design an experiment and identify any variables. Now, I'm not going to test the second half of the hypothesis because that would add a lot of variables that I don't want to work with. They're in the trees! They're in the trees! The variables are everywhere! Ah! Okay, I have a lot of PTSD about the word variable because of econometrics, and it causes me pain just thinking about it. Nevertheless, I will push through the pain and talk about them anyway. For the children. I hate kids I have no affiliation with. Anyway, you will need to make a control group. This group will be the baseline of which all your findings will be based on. In our experiment, this group will be the classic way of planting onions, which is with bulbs. This group will be subjected to the control of variables. These are the variables that are held constant between the two groups. In our case, those would be location, temperature, sunlight, amount of water, type of soil, species of onion, amount of soil, planting depth, and time allowed for growth. There could be others I'm neglecting, but these are the big ones. The dependent variable is the results of the experiment and the changes based on the independent variable. In our case, does the onion make flowers or not, is the dependent variable. The last variable that a student not in college should be worried about is the independent variable. This is the condition or conditions that you change between testing groups. In my experiment, I will be changing the starting point of the onion in its growth cycle. So the other group will be planted with seeds, not bulbs. Congratulations! It's a celebration. Party all day now if you've been waiting. I kind of know the words to that song. Anyways, you've identified all your variables and have come up with a solid methodology for conducting your experiment. Now all you have to do is get the funding and do it. Do it. Now, I will be doing the onion experiment. I just won't be telling you what happens. There's a few good reasons, one of which is I'm stupid and bought different species of seeds compared to my bulbs, therefore the results can just be thrown out automatically. It will also be months before I find out, and I kind of want this video to go up before then. Well, the results will be on TikTok or Instagram. Wow, I can't believe I'm going to leave that in. Links in the description. With the results of your tests in hand, it's time to analyze and draw conclusions. If the results support your hypothesis, you get to move on to the next step. Yay! If they don't, you may have to do further research to find out why. You may have to change your hypothesis and do the experiment again. And there's no guarantee you're going to get the funding the second time. Trust me, there won't be a second time for this unless I have a greenhouse. I'm not waiting until next summer to do this again. Alrighty. Well, I bought the seeds. Well, this is the intervention here first. I'm first going to mention statistical significance. When you're doing your experiment, you need to have the test done multiple times. I'm not talking 3 different cases like I have here. I'm talking hundreds, maybe thousands, if not millions if the time and the funding is available to do it that many times so that your margin of error decreases each time with each additional test. In science, there's a number that scientists have come to agree on that is statistical, is statistically meaningful. Physics Girl kinda has a video that talks about it. Link in the description if I remember. I probably won't remember. Anyways, in the gray pots here, I'm going to put our control, which are the onions that are already sprouting. I'm gonna have to pick onions that are probably already sprouted, as those will, I know those are still good. And then the seeds, which are here, are gonna be in the blue pots. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna be it. So see you in the next scene. Hey, Springtail, you should sponsor me. I don't really know what you do. I just have an extra large T-shirt on the back of my chair because I got it in the business college one day while I was studying. If you made it this far in the process, you get to report your findings and wait for peer review. What is peer review, you might ask? This is where the whole world gets to tear your work apart and tell you how you did. They will also do their own experiments to ensure the validity of yours. Worst comes to worst, no one is able to replicate your results, and your results are considered an anomaly, and further testing is required. Best case is, your findings become fact for the time being, until something happens that could change that. Science is beautiful in this way because it's constantly changing and growing, like an onion.
Example?
Example? Okay, ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes.
That's a terrible comparison. Don't take that Seriously, please. Now you can test other hypotheses based on your results, if they're still fact, of course. Then that starts the whole process over again. Remember, it's not a circle. It just doesn't necessarily have an end, but it does have a start. That's it. That's the entire process. If I missed anything or you have questions, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to respond, or someone else will. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New videos every other Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time, and good night. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_Sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.